Welcome back to another edition of the ASUN Gameday Podcast, the official podcast of ASUN Conference Athletics. I'm Jordan Griffitt, joined by William Hall and Mike DeVader. The spring podcast. Winter's officially done.
Oh,
Last time it was 99% of the way. We were one game away from being done.
still in pre-spring.
We are in full spring now, pre-spring, and now all of a sudden we're in the middle of spring. I don't know how we skipped a part of it to early spring.
I mean, you know,
But we are. It's warm outside.
it takes talent to do that.
Yeah, I'm about to start unbuttoning my collar a little bit.
Oh, don't do
You
it.
know,
Getting
let the
relaxed.
heat in.
Yeah.
Getting real. Turn into a deep V-neck.
Yeah, I get that big.
As always, we're off to an incredible start. We got a lot to get into. A lot of important series happened over the past weekend, as baseball and softball, but especially softball. We had some upsets in the series of the week, or one of the series of the week. Was it your series of the week?
I mean,
Liberty FGCU.
it was.
It was.
It
Okay.
was. I mean, there were two. There were series,
and then
plural.
the battle of the podcasters.
Yes. I mean,
one of us came out victorious. We don't really need to specify who.
Okay.
We just need to say one person won.
That's fair. Yes, there was an upset in one of our series of the week. Either you scored runs or you didn't in that series.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's true.
Either you
true.
did or you didn't. But you know, FGCU softball doing something that has not been done since the Flames joined the ASUN. Shut them out. They took the series. They did. I mean, Liberty did win the third game of the series, I believe, but the first two. I'm not a softball expert.
Are you asking?
I thought you knew. I mean,
You're not the softball expert. What do you mean? You're the
No, I'm
you're the what I would call the liaison between the contact and you.
I am a liaison, not an expert. You know, some things I'm an expert of.
So due to the
some things I just liaise.
Due to the handy dandy internet here, they did lose the last game, FGCU. So Liberty did take the last game, 3-0. They won.
So you either scored or you didn't.
You either
right?
scored, you didn't. 1-0, 5-0, 3-0.
Yeah. I think that this was a good. I mean, clearly a good series for FGCU because they did win the series. But just a confidence booster. If they lacked any confidence, they might not have. I think they're pretty confident down there in Fort Myers with what they do. So, but for me, looking at it, I can say that I did not expect those results. But you know, it could be time.
Could it be time? Maybe it is.
Is it?
Maybe
I
it
mean,
is.
Liberty has been the team.
Already have more losses in the second series of the season than they did all of last year. One conference loss, and that was the last regular season game of this season.
Stetson, right?
To Stetson.
Got him in. Yeah.
And now we have 2 losses already.
In the second
now,
weekend.
they did come on the same day, so it was a doubleheader. So maybe they just caught him on that off day. But that doesn't necessarily happen to Liberty. So this is uncharted waters for Liberty so far, or at least the last couple of years that we've been able to see. I mean, their softball team has been so dominant, and to see them stumble early to a team in FGCU who is on the rise now, you might be seeing a little bit of that destabilization there toward the top.
So you're saying our softball teams have already done something to Liberty softball that our basketball teams couldn't do to FGC women's basketball?
That's a very good comparison, honestly. I mean, we were looking at FGC. I mean, we talked about them every single week for women's basketball.
Who's going to get that
Who's
second
going to
one?
be? Who's going to be the second best team? Who's going to do this? Who's going to do that? Finally, someone did that to
Not only
Liberty
did
softball.
FGCU not get, not only did FGCU not get their second women's basketball loss, they took both of those softball wins in the same day.
Yeah, they took it
They
personally.
don't want to hear any of this podcast.
They're tired
stuff
of
we're
us.
talking about.
Yeah, they're tired
it's
of us.
Yeah, we're the ones.
We were on site, and me and you picked against them in front of their face,
Yeah, how disrespectful.
and they took that personally.
I mean, hey,
Michael Jordan meme. They went out and took about a 20-point win against Liberty. It was pretty brutal.
you owe Liberty an apology.
I owe Liberty an apology for picking them?
Because but while picking them, you
I
made
revert-
FGCU kind of you
I
fired them
woke up the giant.
Yes.
That's what you're saying.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, I do know that when I left the arena that night, my rental car was a lot safer than yours guys' was. But
That's fair.
we don't need to get into why.
That is true. No, that is.
But I felt more comfortable going out into the parking lot.
How'd you say that? Our transportation.
Yes, that's a whole story.
It is.
Whole story
We can't go
that
into that.
we can't get into. It would take days, honestly. If you really want to tell the whole story, it would take days. But that was really my biggest takeaway as well, is that Liberty FGCU series. Obviously, UCA had an incredible weekend as well. But looking at FGCU, you lose Canna Davis, your leading hitter last year, one of the better power hitters in the ASUN. But you have other players that have stepped up. Taylor Filla, 343, 8 doubles already, 4 home runs, 25 RBIs. And then Kaylee Roper, I believe, number 93, also with 21 RBIs on this team with 4 home runs. But a name you need to know, Emily Sharilla, 295 batting average right now. But the most impressive thing, as a true freshman, 17 of 18 on the bags. 17 stolen bases already. He's only been caught once. They also have another player by the name of Avery Venikos. I'm taking a guess on that one. I'm going to be honest. 14 of 16. Megan Ricks is 11 of 11. This team is 6th in the nation in swiped bags. They're fast and they're powerful. And again, doing all of this after having to replace Canna Davis last year, I didn't see this kind of jump from FGCU. Or again, we are beyond early in this conference season, but this is already more than I would have expected in terms of growth from this FGCU squad.
So would you say that this is more about FGCU taking a step forward, or are we looking at this and saying maybe Liberty is not? I don't see how, but maybe I can just throw it out there. Is Liberty not Liberty anymore, or just FGCU is just coming with it?
I believe that the league has gotten better. I believe that FGCU is one of those teams. I think Central Arkansas has got better. I think UNA, UNF, I think all of these teams have gotten better and are starting to catch up a little bit to Liberty. Liberty obviously having postseason success, should be a team that, before this series, should be around the rankings every single week. I think that the league has gotten a bit better, and FGCU, again, it was a doubleheader. You caught them you possibly caught them on a bad day. Only time will tell if that's the case for Liberty softball, but FGCU gets the better of them, and that is a great thing to have on your resume going into postseason. Early on in the season, hey, back in March, we beat these guys twice in a 3-game series.
Well, I think it's always good to get somebody 2 out of 3, obviously sweeping them like that, but early in the conference season, you still don't really know who you are. You play tough schedules the best you can to get ready for conference play, but teams really don't settle in until conference play hits the middle portion. You got so much softball left. I don't think you could say Liberty's down right now. I think they just caught them in a situation they hadn't been in a long time, and we'll see what happens next. It's similar to what's going on in baseball. You just don't know right now, and you see some teams that are really good, but the depth could be an issue for a lot of teams moving down the line for both baseball and softball.
Now, I would ask you the same question that you asked me, but that's why you asked me now, and you have power rankings to determine these kinds of things.
I do.
I'm not important enough to have those, but you guys both are going to have your power rankings later on in the episode. But Liberty falling, or FGCU, I'll phrase it the other way. FGCU taking 2 of the 3 against Liberty. Again, if you didn't score, you didn't score. Yeah. There was nothing else about it. If you wanted to win, you had to score in that one. All right. Looking at, I'm going to highlight, before we move on to baseball, I want to highlight Central Arkansas as well. Again, one of the podcasters won the series of the week.
One of them won.
Yeah. One of them but didn't. UNA did not go down without a fight.
They didn't, because look, UNA is UNA. I still feel like their softball team is going to be one of the when it all is said.
They're going to be there toward the end.
I think they're going to be there towards the end. That's an early pick. But Central Arkansas, I think, is they're still
solid. They look solid.
They're solid. They're solid. I think that's a good word.
They're fast. They have one of the most dangerous pitching staffs. 2 of their pitchers are in the top 3 in the ASUN in strikeouts. That'll do it.
What? That will do it. But how are we feeling about Jacksonville State?
That's a loaded question.
Is it loaded?
Let's look at their schedule.
Well, I think last week I had them just on the outside of make the championship due to that pitching aspect that they also carry.
I mean, 6-0. I mean, they did get Bellarmine, but I'm pretty sure who they opened up against.
Jacksonville State.
Yeah.
Opened up against North Alabama.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay, so you knew it. You just were you're baiting the trap.
I'm a softball liaison. I know these things.
They ruled them in the 6, 8-0, 5-1, and then an 8-4 win on Sunday, and then 10-1 against Bellarmine, then 6-0, and then 14-4. They only played 5 innings on Sunday. So, yeah.
They're there. They're.
They're 100% in the conversation.
Yeah. I think. I mean, they're our only undefeated team right now. UCA did lose that one to UNA, so they fell out of the undefeated talk. But now we've got JSU riding the wave. How long? And they keep it going?
Possibly. I mean, there are legitimately about 5 or 6 teams that I could rationally see in the title game right now, early on in the season. Who knows? Maybe that might be another team that sneaks into there as well. So, all right, Mike, let's move on to baseball. What were some of your biggest takeaways from this last weekend?
Well, I just think that already you've kind of seen the standings kind of flip itself on its head based on what we saw in the first week. Obviously, offense has been the name of the game for a lot of our teams, and specifically some teams down in Florida that we're going to talk about here shortly as well. But look who's at the top of the standing. It's not the team that's ranked in the top 20 in the nation. It's Jacksonville State, who had a really hard start to the season. They've had to overcome a lot of things on the field. Their record's not as pretty as some of these other teams already in our league, but their conference record is as perfect as you can get at 6-0. And I want to see what they have moving forward, because there's some teams right behind them that I want to see how they match up, because the pitching, I think it can do well for Jacksonville State, but what can they do offensively to continue to stay in that battle for the postseason berth, potentially in the top pool in the postseason, because you know who's right behind them in FGCU. Jacksonville, my goodness, what a story they went on with Mr. Armstrong here, Kris Armstrong, over the last week. And then you look at poor UCA. They were 3-0 just this last week. They were undefeated at the top of the standings, and they ran into Kris Armstrong.
Who would
That's
pick them?
basically all you can say is they ran into Kris Armstrong. And I don't know how he didn't get walked after the first couple home runs anyway.
Yeah,
but
at some point you got to say.
I mean, I don't care if the base is loaded. You're going to first. And, I mean, lucky for us, we got some national awards with Kris Armstrong doing some damage, but it's at UCA's expense. They're at 3-3. We got some teams that started slow that are now back up towards the upper half of the standings lineup here in Lipscomb, and Stetson's still playing well. Jacksonville's right behind FGCU, like we talked about. And I just don't know about Kennesaw State yet. I just don't know how I feel about their young team. I don't know if they'll be able to put it together. And I'm still excited about everything because it's just so wide open. There's a couple offensive teams that are gonna face off against each other this weekend, and that's gonna be exciting. But here in this next couple weekends, we got non-conference going on right now when we're recording this on Tuesday, so that's not gonna do anything for our standings in the ASUN. But there's some exciting couple weekends coming up that could potentially divide our standings, like we kind of saw in our women's basketball, where you had kind of an upper four, middle portion fighting to get in that upper section, and then the teams that unfortunately have to play the teams that are on fire right now at the bottom.
Who would be your upper four? If that happened.
Well, I mean, I don't know if we're revealing power rankings right now.
You got the power rankings.
Is that a power ranking question? Okay, I'll ask you then.
I mean, yeah, how about you ask me? Because, again, this is
Because if I have somebody 1, 2, 3, 4, that would essentially be.
See, I would have just.
Or do you want me?
Yeah, I'd give it a list that had nothing to do with the power rankings.
Here's a cluster of teams that may or may not be.
Yeah, I'd give you like 8 options. These are my. Could be, might be.
I mean, I'll go. I know the standings might say different. I will go Jacksonville number 1.
Really?
I would.
When you say number 1, you mean your first of the 4? You mean like number 1?
Both. Yeah,
they're the first team you're going to name.
They're the top
and
team.
they're the top team.
Yes.
Really?
If we're going with my top 4. Now, is this what I think throughout the season, or is this right now?
This is if there were 4 teams that separate themselves like we saw in women's basketball.
Okay. I still think Jacksonville is going to be the number 1 team. I had them in the final. I have them winning the whole thing.
Okay.
So we're forecasting at the end of the last couple weeks of the season who are the 4 that are ready to
the
solidify
final 4
themselves. Basically,
I will go with FGCU.
Mm-hmm.
I am believing in them. It does get tough. Do I buy into Jack State this early? I don't yet. I do believe Liberty will be in the Final Four. They are 3-3. I do believe that they will be there in the end.
Mm-hmm.
Man, it gets really tough.
You've named
I've been FGCU, Jacksonville.
You said Jack State. Are you
I said I'm not going with Jack State.
Oh, you're not? Okay.
No.
All right. So you got FGCU, Jacksonville, and Liberty right now.
Liberty.
he's not all in yet. It's a little too early for Jacksonville
I've
State.
been impressed with Austin Peay so far. Not enough to put him there. I will probably go with North Florida.
North Florida's
That's
had
my
a really
14th.
good offense as well. They've been
Yeah.
hitting a lot of home runs. They had just this last weekend a couple walk-off home runs. I think they had 3 in 1 week or something.
So I left out Lipscomb, left out Jacksonville State, and Kennesaw State.
What about Stetson?
I left out Stetson.
I mean, I know you left them out, but why?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet. There's a not yet category.
Well, listen, I only have 4 teams here.
Right. I
only
did.
have
I
4.
did. I limited you to only
Yes,
4.
you believe in you're the Stetson guy this year.
I am the Stetson guy.
You're the Stetson guy in basketball season.
I was.
Are the Hatters your bandwagon?
Oh, no.
Oh, okay.
I'm not-
I went too far.
You
I'm
went
sorry.
yeah,
I apologize.
He overstepped a little bit.
I apologize.
I'm not bandwagoning, but that's a solid 4.
Yes.
Yeah.
Those would be my 4. So, I mean, we'll let Mike get to it as we get to our power rankings later on. But my takeaway, obviously, Kris Armstrong is a baseball god. I mean, there's no other way of putting it. What he did this weekend is unprecedented in the ASUN. 6 home runs over 8 at-bats against Central Arkansas. 8 total on the week if you want to count the Dartmouth game as well. 2 3 home run games against Central Arkansas. And I think the most impressive stat, again, I'm going to pat myself a little on the back here. This was the one guy I highlighted last week in last week's episode. I got lucky with that one. He went off in a tangent unlike we've ever seen in baseball history.
Right.
He had 12 homers in 308 at-bats at Florida. Over 4 years, he had 12 home runs. He hit 8 in less than a week. 8 home runs. I mean, he calls it an out-of-body experience, and I have to agree with that. 13 for 21, 24 RBIs. His 46 RBIs lead the nation right now. His week that he had are most people's seasons. Kris Armstrong, I mean, celebrate however, man. You deserve it. You deserve it. What a week.
And he did.
What a week.
He did. And ironically, he didn't hit a homer against Florida, but they did split the series against number 6 Florida earlier.
His former team.
He had
Got a little revenge on him.
They won 10-8 in the second game on the road in Gainesville. He did have an RBI, but it was a measly single. So I mean,
for him, that's nothing.
He obviously knew that he hadn't done very well, so he had to unfortunately take it out on the Bears.
Measly single.
RBI single.
That's what it was.
Just imagine, he almost had 24 of those in 1 week, literally. 24 RBIs.
I think he was determined to make
incredible.
my championship final pick look bad. I think that was all.
Stetson,
that was.
Central Arkansas.
He just decided.
He heard it.
And I think I did. I pulled a U and motivated somebody
FGC,
to just
yeah.
He just was like, look, forget the team doing it. I'm going to do it myself.
Hey, man. Happens to the best of us, clearly.
Yeah, I mean, it's good for us overall, but he just made me look bad.
Kris Armstrong, obviously the front runner for Player of the Year early on into the season after a week that we'll talk about probably for a long time. I mean, it is very Josh Hatcher-esque, much better than Josh Hatcher's National Player of the Week win last year. He hit 2 singles in the same week. This was the same player I compared him to last episode. Mm-hmm. A 4-year starter, didn't get a ton of at-bats at his big Power 5 school, a team that wins national championships, comes to the ASUN and does this. I mean, I also didn't know he's a switch hitter. Hit it for both sides, and as Scott Manzi very well said, he'll hit it next one with his eyes closed. That's really what it feels like for the next time up as Armstrong comes up to the plate. Yeah. Number 34 for JU, that guy's something different.
I honestly didn't know that as well when we were going through some of the highlights and trying to clip everything up to kind of put something together for him, and then all of a sudden,
What if he's not a switch hitter, but he's just bored? Have we considered this?
He literally pulled like what was that? Larry Walker did that in the All-Star game, where he just flipped it on the right. He's like, hey, just throw it, man.
Michael Jordan hits free throws with his eyes closed, and now
watch this.
Hit home runs with your eyes closed from you're like left-handed, and you're not even left-handed, right-handed, whichever.
He's like, yeah, that was the first swing I've ever done in my life. No practice, no
400 probably to dead center, something like that. But
he is incredible.
And that will do it for the first half of this podcast. On the other side, we will get to our ASUN series of the week. Welcome back to the ASUN Gameday Podcast. Again, Jordan Griffitt, William Hall, Mike DeVader. It's time to break down our series of the week. Our last series of the week, caused a lot of commotion here within the internal ASUN Gameday Podcast.
Yeah, that was internal commotion.
It was internal, zero external factors. But you came out on top. Credit to you. Now, what are we going to disagree on this week?
The question is, do I pick one or do I go with series?
I don't know. Let's see if I disagree, because that's really what it boiled down to.
Yeah,
last
you felt
time,
like there was a better one.
Because I felt like there was a better one.
Somehow that turned into us picking, and it turned into me winning.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't. Yeah,
I took it too far.
I wouldn't say winning. I would say,
All right. Well, my choice.
I would say winning. Actually.
Okay. All right. As a softball liaison that I am, I'm going Kennesaw State at Liberty.
Wow.
As a series of the week.
All right, you got a fight on your hands because I disagree.
Let me see if I can think where you were going. Yeah, I'm assuming you're going to the 6-0 team.
I am
hosting UNF.
I am.
See, again, we disagree, but we're on the same, because I know where you're going.
We're in the same ballpark.
I think that Liberty back at home. They're coming off, the series loss to FGCU. They did win the last game of that series. I think KSU Liberty before last year.
They have history.
I think that was the history. I think last year started the KSU, wasn't the KSU that they had been prior to that. Mm-hmm. But I think they've got a lot of momentum coming in. It's just coming off that series win against Eastern Kentucky. This may be one of those, like a FGCU, a confidence booster. I mean, you just won this series here. You're coming in, going on the road to take Liberty. It's leaned Liberty. I don't think it's leaned as Liberty as much as the FGCU Liberty series had leaned Liberty. But I think that from a series of the week, I think that's an interesting one to see how Liberty responds and how Kennesaw State can potentially keep this momentum they've got going. I think that the sub-series or the other series or the B series of the week, whatever word you want to use, JSU UNF, I think it's about JSU. I'm curious to see if they can keep it going. And then UNF, they had they had a rough start to conference play. So can they get it going? Is this a chance of them kind of getting some momentum at the expense of JSU coming off? Obviously, they played North Alabama, Bellarmine. There's a difference in the competition between those two series. So you've got North Florida coming in, runner-up to UNF. So I could see how that could be a compelling series. Just my thing would be more to me, I'm looking at that as JSU keeping it going.
Yeah, that's what interests me. That's why I would pick Jacksonville State in North Florida over Kennesaw State and Liberty, because Kennesaw State, I think, in those 3 games against EKU, struggled to put EKU away. And I think against a team like Liberty, that's not going to be a great quality to have. Could they turn it around? I'm not sure. Kennesaw State is very injured for right now and probably for the rest of the season. They have some major injuries that they're going to have to overcome. I don't know how much the FGCU series means in the grand scheme of things to Liberty. We're going to find that out against Kennesaw State. So that is definitely the biggest question on my mind for that one. I am more interested, is Jacksonville State for real? Mm-hmm. I would bet that North Florida wins this series 2-1. I don't think anyone's going to sweep the other. I think North Florida has too much talent to go down to Jacksonville State in this series. I think the history of them being what they've been the last couple of years, being in the finals last year, having the most lethal staff in the ASUN, I think that's going to bleed into a series like this. Proven team with proven success. I think UNF takes this series, and that's my series of the week. Are you on the other side of the argument? We can do this whole podcast battle of the week every week.
Yeah, we could. I think that, I'm switching. You sold me.
Okay.
Because I think I just looked at that as KSU Liberty and got caught up a little bit,
If I would lean KSU Liberty later in the season. If Kennesaw State has proven that they can overcome certain things. But I think the Kennesaw State Liberty story is more about Liberty than Kennesaw State.
True. And I think that JSU, UNF, you could, like you just did, you could lay it out for both sides. Is JSU for real? 6-0. They keep it rolling at home. UNF, slow start to conference play. Can they get it going? A team that's, you look at their lineup, they should be good.
Yes.
I think they will be good. So,
yes.
Okay, you've done it.
All right.
You've
Wow.
changed my mind.
Wow.
I think you still miss men's basketball a little bit too. I think that might have subconsciously
played into it back around.
Oh, yeah.
played into that a little bit. 'Cause
Yes.
you want
Some fond memories.
You want another
That-
round
Yeah.
of the KSU Liberty matchup.
That's a great point there.
Yeah. I like that. Connecting those dots.
Yeah. We'll kick it back to you. Stay hot, Mike. What do you got for a series of the week?
It's all about listening and making good decisions and connecting the dots on that one. So it's interesting when looking at baseball here. I think it's pretty outstanding matchup that I'm going to do with the series of the week. I don't have anybody to barter with on mine, or I don't have two options I can choose.
It's pretty slam dunk.
Yeah, it's
I know where you're going.
and now it's like me going back to women's basketball because now it's going back to Fort Myers, Florida.
Oh.
We got.
I thought you were going.
No, it's not that. Because that wouldn't make sense because they've already played.
Yeah,
But
true.
Anyway, back to the regular scheduled program here of our actual series of the week for baseball. And that's going to be power on power, strength against strength. And that's going to be FGCU hosting Jacksonville. Jacksonville back-to-back weeks, just based on schedule. They're in the series of the week. But you're going to have the two perhaps most powerful teams going at each other. And we already got the script. FGCU's got ESPN Plus come to town this weekend. Is that coincidence? I don't know. I mean, this is like WWE script writing right here. You got ESPN Plus coming to town. You got Kris Armstrong rolling in all by himself. He's coming off the bus first, just asking where the batting cage is at to do some damage. FGCU's 21-4, 16th in the country. Jacksonville 18-8, 4-2. We're just going to have to go through some of these real quick because when you look at RBIs, obviously when you do 24 RBIs in 1 week, you're going to separate yourselves from the group. So just in the top 5 of RBIs, 46, 34, 33, 31, 30. So 5 guys, 30 more RBIs. One of them is Mr. Armstrong at 46. The other 4 right behind him are FGCU. So you got 4 guys in the top 5 that are all FGCU, 30 or more RBIs from each of those. You're telling me half of their lineup almost has 30 RBIs already? I mean, it helps when they put 56 on North Alabama, unfortunately for North Alabama this last weekend.
Yeah, they did.
Football scores 28-7.
Yep.
Yeah.
Hopefully everybody's okay with that situation with no power and everything they've been dealing with down there. But, man, 28-7, then putting it on them a couple more times. FGCU can put up the runs. Who can help Kris Armstrong out? Because, obviously, they're going to have to come up with a plan to try to neutralize him. But you got these two offensive teams that up and down the lineup, FGCU is powerful. Preseason player of the year. Figueredo is still right there in the middle of everything. He's going to have something to say about the player of the year. I mean, FGCU's top 15 in numerous categories offensively, and I'm just really excited to see what this matchup does early in the season because you got the hype, you got the power. Everybody loves the power. Maybe it's the opposite side of this right now, and what are the pitching staffs going to do to settle these guys down? Because that actually could be the key.
Hey, for me, that was my finals prediction. So I'm getting an early finals prediction preview. Mm-hmm. I mean, we'll see if that ends up. But the state of Florida playing well.
You gonna pick a side in that?
Yeah.
Who?
Jacksonville. Jacksonville is going to stay hot. Again, I don't think there's going to be a whole lot of sweeps this weekend with either sport. I'm going with Jacksonville 2-1. I think they probably take the first two and probably drop Sunday.
You know what's even crazier real quick is you see all this power and you kind of see why Jacksonville's able to do what they're doing, perhaps what Kris Armstrong's able to do. They're number one in the conference in walks on offense. So when you're able to force those pitchers to give you what you want, you're going to get 8 home runs, 24 RBIs in 1 week.
Yeah.
I mean, even if you should be getting walked the last 7 at-bats, it's still how it is. But, I mean, when you're doing the right things and forcing those opposing pitchers to not do what they want to do and stretch out their pitch count, you can pretty much put that ball on a tee.
Yeah. It's like, old Earl Weaver, just sit back and wait for that 3-run homer. And when you're getting 2 walks and then a Kris Armstrong bomb, it seems like it's a pretty easily winning formula for Jacksonville so far. All right, Mike, let's keep it on baseball. It's time for the power rankings. Who do you got?
All right, so this is headed into week 3 here of baseball conference season for ASUN baseball. Once again, friendly reminder and listener and viewer discretion that this is not the standings. These are the power rankings, and you have the power to change them at any moment in time.
Maybe they should be the standings.
Any day they can change. Otherwise, they would be called the baseball standings and not the baseball power rankings. But starting from the top.
Maybe we should make the standings off opinion. Wouldn't that be great?
On the website.
This is how we feel today.
People would be so confused. How's the 6-0
You go from first to last, and then
6-0
just depending on our mood.
But starting from the bottom, with unfortunately going to be UCA. They find themselves in 7th place right now. Not necessarily what they had to go through because they ran into a buzzsaw with Jacksonville. They're at 7. I think Lipscomb is about to hit their stride a little bit. They're 4-2. They're 6th overall. We talked a little bit about North Florida and some of their power that they possess. Had a few walk-offs over the last couple of weeks, so they're doing well. They're at number 5. Here's Stetson coming in at 4 because they have a good balance on both the pitching side and hitting side in the batter's box. I have Jacksonville at number 3. And the reason I have Jacksonville at number 3 at this moment is I understand everything I'm talking about. I understand the matchup and the series of the week that I'm looking forward to. And I understand what Kris Armstrong brings, not only at the ASUN level, but nationally right now with how dominant he is. But I can't overlook or, I guess, so to speak, punish Jacksonville State right now. Do I necessarily believe that Jacksonville State is better than them? I don't think that's true right now. I think Jacksonville is probably playing a little better than them right now. But with them being 6-0 ahead of everyone else, winning the games that they're supposed to win, having the big upset against Ole Miss that we talked about last week, I think that puts them at number 2 until this series is played out between FGCU and Jacksonville. That could change a little bit of where we stand right now. The Gamecocks, do they continue to win? They're not gonna fall. So I think you have them at number 2 in a solid position with 1 and 3 up for grabs. Potentially those 3 spots kind of move this next week. Because number 1 right now heading into this series of the week is the 16th ranked Eagles of FGCU.
That's okay. Unlike a certain fan base that we've talked about, the difference between 1 and 3 isn't that concerning to me.
Because that all means that you're playing for a championship at Pool A.
What if you're 4th?
Huh?
What if you're 4th?
You're still playing for a championship.
I would have more problem with 4.
Okay. All right.
But
4 does
I'm
put
not
you in a
gonna
tough position, but you're still playing for the championship.
I'm not going to complain because I think you have to keep FGCU at 1, especially if you've had them at 1. And Jacksonville State, like you said, you can't be punished for winning. I think it does matter how you win, but Jacksonville does have the 2 losses on their resume, so I got no complaints.
No complaints.
Mine would be different, but I can't. I can't.
I'm watching Austin P too. They could be moving up into that top portion because they really put a scare into Liberty on the road. First time they ever played, so that was impressive as well.
They certainly look to be competitive. All the Mountain Dew that they're drinking over there, so that's what's getting them going.
Yeah, he's getting those likes up. That Mountain Dew got his own Twitter account.
Oh, really?
I don't know.
It might be here soon.
The Mountain Dew.
Yeah.
He's gonna be walking up to the umpire all by himself. Here's the card, Blue.
All right, softball power rankings. What do you got?
That's not true though. The softball really hurts. It ain't soft.
It's not. It's harder than a baseball. I don't get that.
Random fact.
Yeah. Frauds.
Frauds. All right. Number 7. We go reverse. Jacksonville.
Okay. Yeah.
The Dolphins. At 6, I have Kennesaw State. Both those teams have played their way in.
Big weekends
to the
for them.
power rankings. The 5 is Austin P. Number 4. The Liberty Flames coming in at number 4.
All the way at number 4. Wow.
I mean,
You'll hear about this one.
well, hey, you did lose a series. It's a power ranking, week to week. You lost, and the 2 losses you didn't score.
I can't believe you get paid to talk about this.
Yeah, I'm an idiot, but I just,
this is literally all you do, and this is what happens.
I watched some softball. I saw one team score. I saw another team not score. And then I heard it was
Twice, and then 2 more times.
That's what I'm saying.
That, yeah.
So, number 3 is FGCU, the team that scored the first 2 times. So that's where I'm at right now.
Okay.
It could change. That's what I'm feeling. Number 2, 6-0, Jacksonville State. Number 1, it's just how I'm feeling. I know it hurts.
Doesn't hurt me. I'm okay.
Are you all right?
Not having North Alabama in there. They are 1-5. I do understand it, but I think they're.
They can't be powerful at 1-5 right now.
I understand.
Now, in the end, yeah, I feel like.
But we all know, back in our mind, we all know.
Yeah, but right now,
I understand.
Central Arkansas, because I do feel like North Alabama is a good team despite the record, and I know
tough schedule.
We had
so
that
far.
conversation about in basketball. I mean, it's the same in all sports. You have that at that point where this team's record, don't let it fool you. So Central Arkansas, I think, is better than North Alabama, but it was 2-1. It wasn't like they just So I won't do this. I give it 2 more versions of this.
Before you see North Alabama back in there?
Yeah, they're not gonna. They won't be out there.
Right.
Yeah. So.
And I mean, you can't. I don't think you can argue with Central Arkansas being number 1 right now.
Not right now.
They are lethal.
Not right now. I mean, we'll see. It'll play itself out. But I didn't want to. The FGCU Liberty played out where it is, and I guess kind of similar to Mike. I didn't want to punish Jacksonville State. Mm-hmm. They're winning. I mean, you play who you play.
The same school on both sides.
It's the same school on both sides. 6-0.
Having a good spring.
The bats are swinging the best in Jacksonville, Alabama, right now. Today,
Okay.
as we speak.
Those are our power rankings.
And
locked in.
Hey, this is the power of being live and having power with a computer right here. I don't know if this ever happened before. I know it's not going to be live when this actually airs, but we got more breaking news right now.
Oh.
Back to baseball. Back to Kris Armstrong. While I was wrapping up, I just got emailed that the National Collegiate Baseball Writers Association, NCBWA, named Mr. Armstrong the National Hitter of the Week.
There you go. Another accolade to add on to Armstrong's already incredible trophy case just from this week alone.
So, I mean, there's some breaking news that it's already broke by the time you hear this. But
Look at this. We're evolving.
That is awesome stuff. Look, we're
evolving.
It's just like we got the baseball version of Adam Schefter just told us what's going on, and hey, here we go. We just announced it live on the air right there. So.
It's like we're doing the live version here at HQ. Incredible. All right, boys. What, you got something to say? You looked at me like you got a problem.
Nah.
It came out as very confrontational.
You got something to say? No, I don't.
I said good day, sir.
All right. Let's wrap this thing up. It's time. It's trivia time.
Please.
Yeah, I know. Mike's still looking for his first win. William has 5. I have 3. Mike, again,
I'm
still
like
looking.
the opposite version of baseball and softball, Jacksonville State. I'm being punished for losing.
Oh.
We got to do this again next week. Yeah, great.
All right. This is a quick one.
I still can't believe I won the first one.
You won the first one and
What year was that?
22. All right. Our trivia question for this week. Bubble wrap was originally used as what? This is, I should have clarified. When it was first invented, it was used as what? A, airbags. B, wallpaper. C, food packing. Or D, shower curtains. Again, William Hall with a massive lead. 2 over me, and Mike's still looking to start the comeback. Fasika, do you have a thought? Sitting by the camera?
I wasn't paying attention to your question.
Wow, wasn't paying it. Last time I kick it to you.
Our executive producer and I am paying
He's busy
attention.
doing that.
Wow, sending messages that don't make any sense. Sweet. Any thoughts, fellas? Picks, anything?
I got one that's out immediately.
What's out?
To me,
Yeah.
I don't know. Mike might be leaning this way, and then when I say it, he's gonna be like, I don't want to have it conflicted because I think I talk too much, and I throw him
It
off.
throws him off.
We
yeah.
might have to start writing these answers down because I think we do this to each other on purpose.
Yeah, maybe we should just start like chatting our answers to you.
Maybe. You might have to. Fasika is going with B.
Don't know the question.
What was B?
She doesn't even know the question. So she just went with a random. She just said
So,
B.
you
What
know,
was B?
Wallpaper.
if she's right and she doesn't do that, then I do what I
Airbags,
do.
Wallpaper.
wallpaper, food packing, or shower curtains.
Wallpaper.
You're going with wallpaper as
I'm
well.
going with Fasika. She's a genius.
Okay.
She's a savant. Trivia champ.
Mike DeVader.
The doldrums day and time is here, and airbags make sense because it's funny because they have air, obviously. But we're gonna go with food packing, and go from there because you're trying to. I don't know where this is going. I usually make good analogies in my head, and then I back up on the right answer to pick the wrong one. So we're gonna go with one that doesn't really make sense to me besides shower curtains, but don't tell me it's shower curtains. We're going to see food packing.
Locked in. Both answers locked. And you're not even giving a reason behind. You're just saying that Fasika's right.
Yeah, I'm just going with her.
Sweet.
And
She
if,
just sent me
if she's
message
right and
with,
she didn't
like-
know the question and she wrote it on her phone, it's bad news for me.
She just sent me 75 question marks. in
All
the
right.
message.
Locked again. Last time.
We locked?
We're locked.
We're locked.
I don't know what they're hanging food, bubble wrap for shower curtains with. So.
Well,
That's so light. Yeah, that couldn't work. Airbags was the one I was going to kick out. Like, that was one that made no sense to me at all, honestly.
okay.
It's B or C. I'm just going to cry.
Willem, you are the luckiest man on earth because B is correct. Another one.
These people
DJ
have
Khaled.
the ugliest wallpaper of all time.
Oh my goodness, man. I don't know how you do it, but you pull it out every week. Every week.
It's just it's a skill, it's a talent, you know.
Cheetah! Copied off somebody else's test.
I mean, she just threw it out there, and I was like, you know, what's B? Whatever B was.
Did you look it up?
No.
She
I
just
still don't
guessed.
know what the question is.
Oh, that's
Seriously?
right. Yeah, she couldn't have looked because she doesn't know what it is. So
Are you?
she didn't know anything. She just guessed B.
That's literally why I told
Because
you what I said
of the
about it. If
letter.
she gets this right, she didn't know the answer.
Oh, you weren't actually picking it.
She didn't know the
Yeah,
question.
you followed a blind guess,
Literally.
100% blind.
I don't know what. Still, no one's.
Like, not only did she not know the question, she didn't know the answer. She picked a letter. And I mean, 1 of 4, and she got it.
And,
And so did you.
and normally it's supposed to be when in doubt, pick C, and that's not true.
It's not what happened. Yep. Well,
Well, you know, the odds were in my favor.
a blind pick is going to end the episode.
I must sacrifice myself so others may live.
That'll do it here on the ASUN Gameday Podcast. Jordan Griffitt, William Hall, Mike DeVader. We will see y'all next week.
Peace.